Welcome to the Smark Foundation podcast. I'm Aaron. This is Adam.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Aaron, how was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was pretty good, man. I did have to work, but the fam sent me a bunch of food while I was at work, so I'm still stuffed. How was yours?
Stuff more than the turkey, right?
Oh yeah, easily.
Mine was good too. It was the first time I had Thanksgiving off in forever. I can't even remember the last time that my job gave me the day off. Even if I had worked, the latest I would have had to work was like 4:30. But it was still nice to have the whole day. But most of my brothers were in town with their significant others, so and they're all over the place. The only one who wasn't there was John. He is in Seattle, so
Hmm.
literally all the way on the other side of the country. Being a lawyer. Shout out to John. Uh, but yeah, he made it. But yeah, it was great. It was really good. My wife and I we switch uh holidays. So this year Thanksgiving was at my parents' place, and then we'll go to her dad's for Christmas, and then we switch. So every other year we do the switch thing to make sure everybody gets a little bit of us at least.
Yeah, we tried to do that, but her parents live 12 hours away, so it's very
Oh
difficult.
yeah, that's difficult and difficult to the point where they couldn't blame you for not making the
Nah,
trip.
nah. But we do still make that trip at least once a year. So,
Yeah,
it
you
just
don't
might not be
freeze
around
them
the
out.
holidays. Oh yeah, no, not at
Yeah,
all, not at all. Love her parents. Me and her dad get along like gangbusters. Um, so yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. But, yeah. So, welcome to our weekly episode where we're going to cover all of the AEW and WWE goodness this week, including the just happened Crazy Wrestling Saturday is what I'm going to refer to it as because Collision, Rampage, and Survivor Series all in one day.
we're gonna call it Thanksgiving Saturday for wrestling fans. This week was awesome.
Whoa. Yeah,
This
dude. Yeah,
week
we were
was
eating.
great. We were well fed for Thanksgiving week. I am
Hell
so
yes, we
excited to
were.
talk about stuff. I
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really am.
Me too. Me too. There's like so much on the plate this week. So, Adam, why don't you roll our social medias and then we'll get right into it, man.
Absolutely. First of all, please join us at Blue Sky. We're no longer using the platform formerly known as Twitter. You can find our official account at Smark fndnpodcast.bsky.social. You can find me and my personal account at Adam Smark fndnpod.bsky.social. Aaron, you can find at Aaron Smark.bsky.social. Please come and interact with us. We are absolutely uh, we're especially at a time like this where there's so much great stuff to talk about. We want to talk about it more than just on this podcast. We want to have conversations. We want to see what you guys think about anything and everything regarding WWE, AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, MLW, WXW. I don't care. I love wrestling. Aaron loves wrestling. Let
Hmm.
us know what we're missing out on because we only cover two brands. So if you have something that you can suggest to us, we will absolutely check it out and we'll talk on it. We'll make the Call in the Ring segment at the end. We'll make it about this cool new wrestling that we were referred to.
Heck yeah,
Like
if I can watch it, I'll watch it. If I can watch it on YouTube,
heck
especially, I
yeah.
know a lot of indie companies run like YouTube shows. If you
Mm-hmm.
recommend an indie company on a YouTube show to me, I will probably watch it at least once.
Yep.
Blue Sky
Yeah.
turned me back on to NXT, and I've been there ever since. It's been like 3 weeks. I've watched NXT every week while I've
Yeah.
been like doing my evening shift stuff, and just I love it. Like I mean, I'm like hell yeah. And then the other day, I don't really know much about Speedball Mike Bailey, and I was like somebody explain to me why I should be a fan of this guy. And Blue Sky, the wonderful denizens there have provided me a list of several matches, probably 10 more than that. I don't know. I haven't gone back and checked the thread today, but yesterday it was like 15 different matches. Um, and the very first one was Speedball versus Osprey. So I'm like,
Yeah. From
and they,
one of their TNA pay-per-views, right?
yeah, yeah. And
I
now
think
I'm
it
a
was earlier this
fan.
year. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. So now I'm a
I
fan.
think it was the last TNA pay per view that he had before. officially joining AEW, right? I think that
Yeah,
was his last match there.
maybe it
Say
was. Maybe it was. So
something
yeah, I
like
mean,
that.
um, great match, and I'm a fan. Like this all these rumors about Speedball McBealy. Let's hope he lands somewhere that I'm watching, because
Yeah.
holy crap, like I enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, like yeah, come interact with us, talk to us. I love Blue Sky. There's genuine interaction there, way more than that other place.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I just enjoyed there. So yeah, come see us.
Yeah. As far as where you can listen to us, clearly you're already listening to us, so you know at least one way to find us. But if you're looking for other avenues, we're on Spotify, we're on Pandora, we're on nearly every podcast streaming service you can find except Apple. We're still having issues there, and we probably will for a little while at least. But you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/at Smark Foundation Podcast. And if you want to support us a little bit financially, keep the lights on a little bit, we do have a shop at smarkfoundationpodcast.printful.me. You can get a hoodie, you can get a mug, you can get a different hoodie with a zipper, or you can get a t-shirt. They're all reasonably priced. Has the logo that I drew up and was colored by Aaron and made a little bit prettier by Aaron. So it was a collaborative effort. We really enjoyed, just honestly just get a kick out of somebody having our swag. Really, it'd be kind of neat. And yeah,
Always.
if you want to go to our podcast direct home, it is rss.com/podcasts/Smart Foundation with the additional slash on there at the end. I don't know why they do that. It's tech language that I don't understand, but it's there. And I'm sure if you don't put that last slash on there, it will lead you there anyway. So
Yes.
that's where you can find us.
Like yeah, well, so that let's that our intros are done. So let's get into the lockup. So that's our Raw review for this week. Okay, so forgive me, anybody that's been listening to the last couple weeks, as my expectant self has been talking about the Survivor Series as if it was 4 weeks away, when in reality it was two, and me being dumb and thinking, man, all these builds are super fast. Why? This is why. Because Survivor Series is this week, which when I tuned into Raw, they were like, hey, Saturday is Survivor Series. I was like, oops.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So correction on my part. But here we go full bore into go homes for,
Forgive us, we
for
are middle-aged
Survivor
men.
Series. Yes. Forgive me. I'm middle aged. So yeah. So Raw, little bit to like, a little bit to dislike. It was a good show this week altogether. So we'll just go through it all here, or at least the good parts, and a little bit of what I didn't like. Gunther had a promo. We're still going through this like Gunther is insecure thing with Damian Priest. They're building. They finally tell us we're going to get a match between Damian Priest and Gunther at Survivor Series. So I think they told us that last week. So now they're just kind of promo offing. Gunther attacks Priest, real basic, but I really like how they're trying to play on his insecurities. However, I actually feel like this is a little bit repetitive because Shinsuke, who is now feuding with LA Knight out of kind of nowhere over the last couple of weeks, is also doing a playing on the insecurities bit with LA Knight. So we're kind of playing the same playbook here, guys, in just a different way. It's like, one with extra steps or whatever. Um, so I don't really like that part. And I also don't like that seemingly this week we're told that it's going to be Shinsuke versus LA Knight at Survivor Series, and Santos Escobar is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
I don't really like that. I mean, I
Well,
know
nor
I
is
was.
Andrade.
No, wait, we'll talk about Andrade. Hold on a second. That's part of the
Oh,
stuff I did
okay,
like this
okay.
week. Okay, so um, I know that it's possible based on everything we've talked about week to week and then what has happened in subsequent weeks after we've talked about certain things, that there might be somebody from one of the companies or both listening to us. And I don't know how that happened, but
Oh, beats
since
me.
it's either them listening to us or the universe just coinciding with things we say, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. Um, I I don't like when someone just gets disappeared. I know last week I griped about them doing the Santos and LA Knight 7 times in a row, but that would have made sense for a Survivor Series match, or at least those two and Shinsuke like a three-way. But no, just no Santos at all. We're going to have a three-way with, or we're going to have a U.S. title match with just LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura. Not really a fan of that. But not the match itself, just where's Santos Escobar?
Yeah.
Um, so that out of the way. Um, Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio versus American Made, really good workable tag team match.
Hmm.
Um, but nothing spectacular. I mean, it was about what I expected. They had a great
Yeah.
match, but we're not like, I kind of feel like it's where here's where the dichotomy is. Here's where the split is between the wrestling companies. WWE is where you go to get your really compelling television storylines. AEW is where you go to get your really compelling wrestling and pay-per-views. One company is way better at doing produced television segments, and one company is way better at doing wrestling. So the matches on a week to week Raw or SmackDown are largely forgettable. But that's not to detract from these people. That's just to say, like, WWE's matches are really memorable when we get to the pay-per-views, and they're really good
Yeah.
at building stories. And unfortunately, if you're like American Maiden and Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, right now there's not really a story, much of a story going on with either of those guys, with either of the factions that they're involved in. I mean, there's kind of things going on, but it's really not a lot. They're not really at the forefront, which at WWE equals kind of just happening, kind of just there. Um, and so, since these two aren't involved in a storyline that can be forwarded by the match is kind of inconsequential. But it was a good match. And I mean, not one I'm going to be like, hey, go seek it out, but it was a good match. I wasn't like, man, why'd they have this snoozer on TV? No, it was good. These guys are all
Yeah.
four very capable wrestlers. It's just there was no real story that we're gonna be putting forward here. If we get an LFO, or Latino World Order, or
LWO.
LWF, if we get an LWO versus Chad Gable and American Made thing, okay, cool. That'd be cool. But let's roll more into this.
Yeah,
Let's get into it.
it's a difficult line to walk because on the one hand, the conceit, you want there to be something extracurricular to the match to hook you,
Hmm.
especially in WWE where that's kind of expected. Aside from like squash matches and stuff. On the other hand, the conceit of kayfabe that you buy into of your own volition
Hmm.
is that this is a company where people wrestle. And sometimes they just wrestle whoever's put in front of them without any reason
Yeah.
because it's their job.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to ride the line. Like there, honestly, I feel like there should be just random matches every now and then, just for their sole entertainment purposes alone. Because especially like that's how I mean that's how people like Mortos get over. Like
Yeah.
he didn't have a story. He was just on TV all the time,
Hmm.
generally doing the job. But like he that's how people get over sometimes is that you just put them in front of people and they do their thing and
Hmm.
they get so I don't necessarily feel like it's a bad thing, but it's easier to do when the Raw is 3 hours,
Yeah.
when you have
Yeah.
the extra time. It's
Hmm.
easier to do when you have not built up this narrative about your own product where this is where you go to get stories.
Hmm.
Like that's the line in the sand that the toxic WWE fans like, well, where's the story? It's like, okay, well, all right, well then everything that happens on WWE better have a story to it other
Hmm.
than what's going on in the match, because otherwise you're just, you know, blowing smoke up your own butt.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Now what I said earlier was not to say like that the company, like WWE has
no,
some
no,
very good
no.
wrestling and AEW has some very good stories.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I
we
only
just
bring it up to to say that that is a
You know,
difficult tightrope to walk. Is all.
yeah,
It's
it
like,
is. It
and
is.
I don't know where the line is. I don't
It
book
is.
things. I've never been in
No.
that position, so I can only tell how difficult it is from a second slash third person perspective. So
Right.
inside that circle, that booking circle, it must be really difficult to find
Hmm.
where that line is, and you're not always going to succeed, and that you
Right.
just have to kind of accept that people are not perfect.
Hmm.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So after that, we had like Naomi and Bianca and Io Sky talking about who's going to be their new fifth member. Jade got taken out last week, so they're looking for a new fifth member. I mean, it's kind of been telegraphed that it's going to be Bailey, so we'll see. You know, um, then we had Braun Breaker versus Ludwig Kaiser for the Intercontinental Championship. This got set up last week. Really good match, but it kind of ended in a scrum between the two of them and Sheamus. At which point, Adam Pearce just lost his freaking mind and screamed that they were going to have a three-way match at Survivor Series. So, boom, there's another. There's two of our five matches. Um, just suddenly booked. Like, I mean, this one was just suddenly booked like the 5 days before. I don't really like when they do short stuff like this, but understanding their timeline between one huge event that they have to do in Saudi Arabia versus one scheduled normal Big Four event,
Yeah.
I guess I get it. But so this we'll definitely talk more about this later. Okay, because like
Hmm.
I don't want to go too far into talking about the between Braun and Ludwig when we've got Braun, Ludwig, and Sheamus in my pay-per-view review,
Yeah.
and boy oh boy, do I want to talk about it.
Yeah. I heard that one
Um,
delivered.
yes. Short and long. You'll get a long answer later, but short answer, yeah. Um, backstage we have a Judgment Day segment, dude. Like I know what happened here. Finn kind of gave everybody a dressing down verbally, except for Liv. But I guess you really can't dress down the women's champion when you don't have when you're like a tag champ with
Not
bobblehead.
in this day and age.
But to be perfectly honest with you, at this point, please break the Judgment Day up. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about it later during the pay per view, but I freaking hate this crap, dude. I hate it. I hate it so much. And everything except for one other thing that I really hate, everything came up like F Judgment Day this week. So I was like super happy because I just like I tune out at these stupid segments. Like I'm sorry, I don't like it, and I don't really have an alternative for you guys. Like Liv, Raquel, Dom, leave them together. Dom's got nuclear heat. They can carry that trio as a heel trio just on his heat, and you'll be fine. But like you've got or you yeah. No. Yeah, no, you do. They're still the tag champs. Um so you've got Finn Balor and JD McDonough with the tag team champions, but like just right there. I mean, like I had to think about it. Were they still the tag champs? I shouldn't not know who the tag team champions are, or and it's because I don't like these tag team champions, and I don't know what to do. Like normally, I would like to offer some constructive criticism and say you can do this in place of this, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Like give them back to the Usos or something. I just don't know. Like the Judgment Day has played the hell out at this point, and every time I see them, it makes me irrationally angry in a way I shouldn't get irrationally angry watching a freaking wrestling show. Like I just don't like it, and
That's too
I'm
bad. I mean,
allowed
I'm a
to, I
big.
think.
That's too bad. I always liked Finn Balor's work, and
You know, see, here's the
from the
thing.
UK brand when they were. I liked JD McDonough. I thought that he's bumped and sold his butt off.
The only
Like,
person I'm not really a fan of individually in the group is JD. I just don't
you know,
care for him that much. But like I'm a super big fan of Finn. Like when he won the Universal Championship, when he was the very first Universal Champion, I was over the freaking moon about that and crushed when he got his shoulder injury. Like
yeah.
I it legitimately upset me.
And the dude
I
is super important. He created Bullet Club.
Yeah. And I
Like it was
love
on
Car.
him. It was on his back.
Yeah, I think Liv's a great heel champion. I think Raquel's a good heater for her. I think Dom's a good heater for everybody because he has nuclear heat. I love Carlito. I've always loved Carlito. I just think he's funny and a good in-ring hand. So like he's got that coupling that works well together. He's funny, but he
He's
can really
enormous now
work.
too.
Yeah, and
Like,
he should
jeez,
definitely
he's jacked as hell.
he should not be playing second fiddle to the midget twins. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's huge. He
He's
should be
enormous.
they should be playing that up somehow. But it's the funny thing. He's done what our truth
Yeah.
like our truth is physically imposing also, but he's never going to get out of this funny thing now. It's never going to happen. Poor guy, love him to death. But the funny thing's funny. I'm entertained by it, so keep doing it. Hey,
And if it keeps him in a job, I don't think he cares what he's doing. Like, he's
yeah.
having fun.
Speaking
I
of
mean, that
Judgment,
dude is in his early 50s. He looks like he hasn't aged a day since his K Quick days.
I don't think he has, honestly.
I
But
think he
so
found the fountain of youth. Just made him
speaking of
dumber.
Judgment Day, which I don't like to keep harping on Judgment Day, but speaking of them, then we go into a tag team championship match with the Judgment Day and the War Raiders. And I'm like, oh heck yeah, they've been shaking shit up in the tag division. It's a real possibility that the War Raiders might win. And then Dom Mysterio gets involved and the War Raiders lose. And the crowd was pissed. And you could tell how pissed they were. It was like a legitimate, like mad. They were
Yeah.
mad. Um,
I mean,
looks
they can
like
always fix that next week on Raw, though. Like, they can
yeah.
pivot.
Um, they had New Day versus Alpha Academy. Um,
Yeah.
Kingston and Woods are they've blown. They've blown. Alpha Academy beat New Day. Akira Tozawa got the pin.
Good for
Uh,
him.
I get good for him. First of all,
Good for
I
him.
love Alpha. I love Otis. I love Akira. I like Maxine Dupree. Like I really hope more for them always. But
Tozawa
they
is one of my guys from 205 Live days. I've loved his
Yeah.
work.
But this match was all of 2.5 minutes because the New Day just exploded. They vowed to end their tensions with one another at next week's 10th anniversary, but they were screaming at each other at one point. Like Kofi reminding Xavier that he's never been a singles champion. Xavier reminding Kofi that he blew the WWE Championship in 26 seconds. They were digging in. The worst parts of each other's career. They were like, you did this and you did. I mean, like uh, it was bad. I'm glad it's
You
going to
wanted to
be,
progress.
I
You
wanted
wanted
to,
to progress. It has progressed.
it has progressed. And next week, it looks like we're going to get a conclusion of some kind, thankfully. That's tomorrow from the time we're recording. So I can't wait, actually. Woods is
Come
the
on,
craziest
Biggie,
thing though
baby.
is Xavier's like trying to talk all this shit and Kofi's like, I don't even need you. I was a Hall of Famer when I met you. Whew. Like crazy. So then we had the War Games Advantage match between Bianca and Nia. It was really good. But Bailey showed up and cost Nia the match. So, and Bianca was like, because they had their problems in the past, but I guess it's Bailey trying to be like, hey, I'm nice or whatever. Um, so then Miz and Final Testament come in after that, and they find that Scarlett's been attacked by Nikki Cross. So they're kind of forwarding the Wyatt thing, but that's pretty much all we got all week for the Wyatts. Uh, spoiler for SmackDown and the pay per view. That's all we got all week for the Wyatts.
All right.
Um, then we had kind of a clip. We had a kind of a clip towards the end of the show where Adam Pearce unveiled the women's intercontinental championship, and we're going to
So,
have a
okay.
tournament that starts tomorrow to determine the women's intercontinental champion.
See, that's good though, because we were talking about how it was weird that they had the United States title that was going to go across both brands. So at least now they're linked to the championship that's on the brand that they're on. So
Yeah,
I see that as a good thing, and also that's more gold for women to go for.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
also throws into the air once again what a Grand Slam champion is. So we'll see.
And then just another thing I kind of liked. We had like a really short kind of segment where they talked about how they weren't sure how Roman Reigns and Punk were going to work together. So Roman Reigns and CM Punk were going to have a face-to-face sit down on SmackDown, which means I'm tuning in, even if I wasn't reviewing the show.
I mean,
So
that's the goal, right?
that's the goal.
That's the goal.
So overall, Raw was pretty good. Um, they I don't really like the quick booking, but I understand it because of the time frame. I also I'm also excited that they're kind of still doing a good separation of what goes on the pay-per-view and
Mm-hmm.
what should be on a television show. So we've got, the triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship and the match for the US Championship and the War Games matches all on the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
And we've got and the World Heavyweight Championship match. All are on the pay-per-view. And the New Day imploding is going to be on Raw next week,
right.
where it probably should be,
And
because
then
there's no
Cody and
titles
KO will
involved
be
in it.
on main event,
Cody and KO is Saturday night's main
which
event.
is somewhere in the middle of those two
Yes, the conclusion
concepts.
of the women's U.S. Championship tournament will also be at Saturday night's main event. And I am not sure about the women's Intercontinental Championship conclusion, but it may also be on Saturday night's main event. I imagine we will find out tonight as this is airing on Raw whether when those tournaments will. But guess what, man? The C2's going on. They've got that thing for Wrestle Kingdom, that little tournament going on, and there's two women's tournaments going on in WWE. And after the May Young tournament, like these
Yeah,
guys are good at women's tournaments.
yeah.
It's tournament season, and my little
Yeah.
heart couldn't be happier.
I know. I love a tournament.
I love
I love a
tournaments.
tournament so
Um,
much. I'm a huge mark for tournaments.
so yeah, big up for Raw. Raw was good this week, and with that, I guess we're gonna go into the shot.
Shine.